Straight ahead on CTV News tonight, a disturbing discovery in Hyattsville.
3 men were found dead in Hyattsville. Now police are investigating exactly what happened. I'm Katara Jones. I'll have everything you need to know coming up on CTV News.
Good evening. Troubling news for the Prince George's Police Department. This is CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. We have the story in a moment, but first, 3 unusual deaths in Hyattsville. An investigation is underway following the deaths of 3 men in Hyattsville last night. CTV's Katara Jones has the story.
Hyattsville police are investigating the deaths of 3 men. Officials say they were found unconscious here outside of the Hamilton Manor apartment building late last night. Hyattsville police say the medics that arrived on the scene administered Narcan and performed CPR but were unsuccessful. A spokesperson for Hyattsville police say they are waiting for the medical examiner's report to determine cause of death. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact Hyattsville Police at 301-985-5060. A slew of indictments have been handed down by a grand jury that targets more than a dozen Prince George's County police officers. 13 are current officers and 1 recently retired. They had been indicted on misconduct and theft charges. Investigators say the officers were working for a private security company at the same time they were on duty with the police department. They say the officers worked for Ed Finn, who was indicted by the feds in 2021 in connection with his security company. The officers not only worked for him, but they were under his command at the police department.
Public safety cannot operate without integrity. The badge has to mean something. What it means here in Prince George's County is that our officers are not above the law, that the state's attorney's office will continue to prioritize the safety of our community and the integrity of our cases while conducting thorough investigations and pursuing just and fair convictions.
This is truly a disheartening day for the men and women who represent the very best of Prince George's County Police Department. All people, including officers, retain the right of due process under the law. Yet the allegations on this large group of officers are deeply troubling.
The officers no longer have police powers and have been reassigned. If convicted, they face up to 5 years behind bars. A grand jury has indicted a former Fairmont Heights police officer, and he faces decades in prison. 38-year-old Philip Dupree learned of the decision yesterday. The indictment alleges that on August 4th, 2019, then on duty for Fairmont Heights, he conducted a traffic stop overnight in D.C. During that stop, he deployed his pepper spray and then turned in false statements about what happened that night. Records show it took him 3 hours to get the driver to a Prince George's County jail. Now, if convicted of the civil rights violations, he faces 10 years in prison and up to 20 years if he's found guilty for obstruction of justice. Dupree, by the way, was previously terminated from the Capitol Heights, District Heights, and the Prince George's Community College police departments. A 38-year-old woman is behind bars today and charged with the vehicular death of her boyfriend. On August 20th, police responded to a call of a person trapped under a vehicle in the 6100 block of Floral Park Road in Brandywine. The male victim was pronounced dead at the scene. Detectives say Udell Bruno intentionally ran over and hit her boyfriend, 40-year-old Shamato Clark of Riverdale. Bruno was charged with vehicular manslaughter. She is in custody on a no bond status. Here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The Maryland Health Department has confirmed 1,369 new cases. The positivity rate in Prince George's has fallen slightly to 12.78%. 11 Marylanders have died of COVID over the past 24 hours. 526 people are hospitalized. The Maryland Department of Health announces the first West Nile virus case of the year. That person is from Baltimore. The disease affects the nervous system, and most people will not display any signs of illness at all. Health officials say symptoms include fever, headache, body aches, and swollen lymph glands. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Coming up, with preparation for a new school year underway, today we visit Cherokee Elementary. Stay tuned.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
We have an update to a story that we reported on yesterday, a deadly hit and run in Upper Marlboro. The victim on the motorcycle that was hit by a car has been identified as 58-year-old Muhammad Salam of Washington, D.C. The driver remains on the run. Police were able to locate the vehicle involved. Now, if you have any information about Wednesday's early morning accident in the 10,000 block of Frank Tippett Road, you're asked to contact police. Prince George's police are investigating a fatal shooting in Langley Park last night. Officers were called to the 2300 block of University Boulevard around 9:20 p.m. Police found a male suffering from gunshot wounds near a McDonald's restaurant. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Police say a second victim walked into a nearby hospital with gunshot injuries. Anyone with information on this incident is asked to contact police. In just 4 short days, the halls of one new county school building will be filled with children. This is the newly completed Cherokee Lane Elementary School in Hyattsville. The modernized school features a 2-story classroom, which includes a common area where students can sit at tables and read books right outside their classroom. The school also has security cameras outside and inside the building.
And one of the big things, we have enough security cameras around the perimeter of the building on the outside, and enough on the inside. As you can see, they're like everywhere. And we did that to eliminate blind spots. So when the security officer is, at her desk looking at the camera, there's really no blind spots right now from what we can tell so far. It looks like it was successful. The other thing, on the curriculum side, they've done training, lockdown training.
Officials say the new school cost $54 million to complete. The school year in the county starts Monday amid teacher shortages and possible bus delays. In a letter sent to parents, school CEO Monica Golson warned families that there could be some bumps in the beginning. She says they have filled just over half of the teacher vacancies, with 900 positions still vacant. For students who ride the bus, staffing shortages could also cause issues. The school system says its transportation call center will be open from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. this weekend for parents who have questions. That number, by the way, is 301-952-6570. County Board of Education policies were not followed by both the chair and other members. That's according to a new independent audit commissioned by the State Board of Education. The audit report cites violations of the Open Meeting Act, failure to follow established board procedures, violations of ethics laws, and conflicts of interest. After 17 years, a local mainstay is looking for a new home. Community Forklift, that is, has been operating out of this Edmonston location on Tanglewood Drive since 2005, but recently landlord Washington Gas notified the nonprofit that it must find a new home. Community Forklift receives salvaged building materials and household items and resells them.
A couple news stories came out. We've had a lot of folks come to us and suggest properties, which we're following up on. So we're working very closely in partnership with Prince George's County, with EDC and David Iannucci and his staff. The Department of the Environment's been very supportive. The County Executive's Office has been very supportive. And everyone is we're beginning to more intensively look and getting a lot more feedback on possible sites.
And we'll have more on Community Forklift and its search for a new home tomorrow on CTV News. The Montgomery County Board of Election has completed its recount and certification for the county executive election. Mark Elrich has been declared the winner over challenger David Blair. The extended recount effort resulted in 10 more votes for Blair and 7 for Ehrlich, but it was not enough to erase Elrich's 32-vote lead out of the nearly 140,000 cast. In 2018, Elrich defeated Blair by 77 votes. Elrich will take on Republican candidate Reardon Sullivan in November. President Joe Biden is back on the campaign trail, this time for Democrat Maryland gubernatorial candidate Wes Moore. This afternoon, the president is scheduled to take part in a rally at Richard Montgomery High School in Rockville. The grassroots event runs until 8 tonight. The president is expected around 6 p.m. The First Lady, who was scheduled to attend, will not be able to do so after testing positive for COVID a second time. And still to come on CTV News tonight, a sports page report. Stay with us.
Coming soon, we caught up with Wise High School football, the #1 team in the Maryland 4A division. Find out how they're preparing for this season. I'm Laurencia Moten, and I'll have that story up next.
When I never graduated from high school, I realized I wanted to go back to school because I didn't want to work these back-breaking jobs the rest of my life. With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed to come back to school. I felt accomplished, made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Coming off of a great season with a record of 12-1, the Wise Pumas are ready to lean on their leaders to keep the momentum going.
The DeLon Parish football field is the home to the Wise Pumas. This football program is known to be one of the best in the state of Maryland. With 12 overall wins last season, the Pumas stand as the top team in the Maryland 4A division. But all of that success did not come without hard work. Head coach DeLon Parish has prided himself on developing his athletes into positive individuals on and off the field. The culture he has created within this program is one of hard work, dedication, and a commitment to excellence. This season is the first ordinary season post-COVID. Last year, the Pumas were unable to host off-season training and regular preseason workouts. This year, with the ability to enjoy a full normal season, Coach Parish says players finally get the full high school experience.
Right, we're now going back into the building from day one. They was able to exercise over the summer. They could be committed to their sport and different things that they do outside of school. And for all of them, it's just being around each other, you know. We know how to stay safe, at least we all trying. But life goes on, society continues. So with that being said, you know, I think the whole county is excited. So I think everybody's looking forward to this. And now we're going to get to see the true measure of every coach and every team as everybody was able to have an off season and now build into this year.
And this year, the Pumas took full advantage of the off season.
Now we had an off season. We was able to do that, get back to our roots, our foundation of hard work, physicality, and now look forward to this season.
This season, the team is ready to redeem themselves from last year's championship game. In that game, the Pumas fell to the Quinch Orchard Cougars 31-13. Now, despite having a tremendous season, the returners on the team have one thing on their mind, and that is making sure this year they go home with a championship win.
Everybody who was there last year got that feeling in their heart. I know I thought about it every night when I went to sleep. It sucked. Don't nobody want to feel that feeling again. So it's fueling every game. Every game it's the same fire, just building and building and building until we get either back against QO in states or whoever's up there. We knocking them down.
In Upper Marlboro, Laurencia Moten, CTV Sports.
Well, that's your CTV News update. I'm Taylor Thomas. Good night.